This is the real deal. Lip sweat and all. Take it from the top. Hi everyone, Liv here again for another episode of Waking Up with Wedding Wire. Guess what? Couples have resumed wedding planning. Wedding Wire partnered with Grow, a personal finance site from Acorns and CNBC, to create the Behind the Wedding Budget Study, which surveyed 1,000 of our engaged social media users ages 18 through 39. So I will be sharing all the interesting findings from this study to take a deeper look into how engaged couples budget and save for their wedding. Couples budget an average of $22,500 for their wedding day ceremony and reception, but most aren't choosing one financial dream over another, meaning you can still have a wedding and save for retirement. In fact, couples are often working toward 4 additional financial goals while saving for their wedding, including buying a house, paying off student loans, and contributing to their 401k. #adulting. As always, communication is key. Make sure to have those conversations early on in your relationship and wedding planning journey so you can set your priorities together. This will allow you to figure out the right timeline and budget for each goal, like your dream wedding. It may seem like a lot, and if you're anything like me and not great at budgeting, I have some good news. Wedding Wire is here to help relieve any stress. And don't forget to utilize our budget planning tools and vendor marketplace to browse an extensive list of wedding vendors at every price point. So you completed those series of tricky budget conversations, and now you're asking yourself, how do couples really save for their wedding? According to the Behind the Wedding Budget Study, 12% of couples go into their engagement with wedding savings, while nearly 40% start saving once they get engaged. Young millennials are more likely to focus on saving the money they already make compared to Gen Z, who are more likely to try and increase their income leading up to the wedding. For example, millennials prefer utilizing credit card points, while Gen Z would rather work extra shifts or find ways of earning supplemental income. Another way couples are saving ahead of their wedding is that 40% of Gen Z are moving in with their fiance pre-wedding to cut down on living expenses. I better go find myself a roommate. Regardless of age, saving money for a honeymoon was a top priority for both Gen Z and young millennial couples. Agreed, we can all use a trip to a tropical island right about now. Now you got your savings in line, so how do you budget for the perfect wedding? For 41% of newly engaged couples, figuring out and managing a budget is one of the most challenging parts of wedding planning. The thought about budgeting for a wedding is already stressing me out, and I'm not even engaged yet. Nearly 75% of couples set a budget before conducting any research on the cost of vendors, which can cause misalignment between a couple's budget and final wedding day spend. In fact, roughly 2 out of 3 couples saw their budget increase, with the majority admitting that their budget was set lower than what it should have been. Yeah, that would be me. I would plan this huge, extravagant wedding with Lady Gaga performing and all the works, just to find out that it's not in my budget, which is why research is key. Another essential step to alleviate stress over unexpected costs is discussing what each person prioritizes. Roughly 1 in 3 couples say they are willing to spend more on the 1 or 2 things they really want, and that they'll be willing to increase their budget to accommodate it. So, I guess I can have Lady Gaga perform after all. Just kidding, maybe I'll go for that open bar instead. While roughly 1 in 4 couples pay for their entire weddings themselves, asking for financial support from family and relatives is common. In fact, 72% of couples are receiving at least some financial support, with parents being the primary contributors. But this generosity doesn't come without some strings attached. Of those couples, 1 in 3 feel an obligation to listen to their parents' input, and 1 in 5 may have a dispute with their parents during the planning process. That's gonna be me. Other than family contributions, 66% of couples use their savings to pay for wedding costs, 54% of couples use their checking accounts, 30% of couples use an existing credit card, and 6% of couples open a new credit card account as part of their finance plan. Better start putting any loose change in my piggy bank to start saving for my wedding happening in, who knows. I hope you enjoyed listening to all these insights regarding wedding planning and budgeting. Remember, the wedding planning journey doesn't have to be all that stressful. Try to enjoy and make some happy memories. Don't forget that Wedding Wire is here to help with all our online and app-based tools, so you can budget and plan for your special day that is unique to you as a couple. See you next time. Happy planning.